Hello! Trying to reconnect.
Hello.
Weird. It went like that. Do you see that? It went dark. Why is it dark? Adjusting to the brightness is. My battery's fine though. Welcome back, everybody. Today, we are doing our live from Pioneer Park, where we have all the outside noises again. But instead of being over by the playground, today we're on the north end of the tennis ball courts.
North end of the tennis ball courts. Oh yeah.
Because the rims are this way, so never eat soggy worms. This is the north side, I think.
Aren't worms always soggy though? Like
The direction, it's on compass.
I
How you remember how they go.
I wonder
You can't say right side because then, I still got to hold up the which one makes an L. Okay, so that's right. And I'll still have to do the never eat soggy worms to figure out which one's east. Every time. Today, is this our fourth week?
This is our
third week of
I think this
scarcity?
is also like our final week because this is the last week of May. And this is kind of like, where I leave you guys with this, because what we're discussing today is the action of becoming, right? So, like
And now there's a helicopter.
I would say the subtler. You know what? This happened last time. Every time I got something good to say, helicopters got to be playing around out here.
And if it can't be the fast one, it's got to be a slow moving. It didn't go over us though.
That's true.
So there's that. But we're back in nature. Can you guys hear us okay? There's some wind, and we've got a microphone, so...
Let us know if you can't hear us and you hear the...
Yeah, is the wind overpowering the rest of the voices? How many voices do you hear?
Nikki
Because you hear
Felicia
voices?
Jackson. I feel like these are all people
Felicia!
we have not seen on here. How exciting.
Thanks for watching, guys.
All right,
Thanks for being here.
Now that the helicopter is gone.
Yes.
So we are stepping into the action of becoming. And we're talking about the subtler parts of what manifestation really is, how it pulls you away from scarcity, and really, in a nutshell, it boils down to how much you're willing to lean into the trust that you're doing the things. But we'll get into it. So far we've exposed the script of that fear writes. We've practiced pausing long enough to catch our breath and our truth. But what happens after the pause? Like we've recognized what's got us held up. We recognize how to pause, sit with it, just be, acknowledge it, accept it, own it. And now what comes next? How do you do the do?
Yeah, I feel like we've beaten the horse dead with recognizing ways that scarcity shows up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, just in the ways that we word it.
Oh, definitely. And that's why I try to...
Words have power, though, so...
And that's why I try to focus more on the subtler things of that nature, because we have. A lot of our lives have discussed the same topic in many forms. So really, it's just having a way to have access to those softer nuances of really leaning into
sometimes
something.
It hits differently if you call it by a different name.
That too. Well, no, but like, honestly, because, I mean, you can beat the horse dead all day long with the whole choose yourself. Just trust that the universe is going to provide. Just for once in your life, try to break the pattern and do something different. Like, we know these things. We've heard these things. We hear them all the time on our TikTok feeds.
Mm-hmm.
It gets old. So, like, what is it? What does it look like? How do I make that actionable? Put it into words for me so I have steps to process the process that they're telling me to process. Yeah. Can you tell I'm passionate about this? Right face. Yeah. So not the hustle kind, but the sacred frequency tuning actions. Because manifestation doesn't happen when you want something. It happens when you act like you already belong in the room where it lives. It's recognizing that all of these potentials are waiting for you to just allow them to come into your field. That just means trusting yourself, and that just means letting yourself imagine, let yourself build the bigger picture. Get excited about the small things that builds the anticipation for the big things. So on and so forth. So, subtle action versus scarcity action. It's kind of a mini recap, but it's necessary. So, there. Most people think manifestation is magic, and it's not. It's momentum. It's rooted in beliefs so deep it moves before there's proof. Scarcity action looks like urgency, trying to prove something, overcompensating.
It's like when you can feel that anxiety behind it.
Mm-hmm. Like, oh gosh, what do I have to shift around? What part of my day, what part of myself do I have to sacrifice in order to make this work? And sometimes, that is necessary. But I don't think that it's every time.
It reminds me of like the whole triage thing, like filtering it through the like, do I want to do this or do I feel obligated to do this? So recognizing that anxiety behind it, that pull. What is pulling you?
Yeah.
Is it because you're passionate about it because you want to, you feel that pull, or is it the fear and anxiety
And then
that is driving you to do that?
Noticing it in the body. Where does it reside?
Mm-hmm.
Noticing where it comes from. Is it thoughts that are reoccurring, or is it?
And it happens quicker
nature?
each time too.
Yeah.
Like the recognition.
Yeah. And then guys, honestly, the culmination of change is being sick and tired of the version of you that you are now. You want something different, you want it bad enough, you're willing to try new things, right? So, aligned action is quiet, it's sovereign, it's energetic. It's reading the moment that you're in and seeing what's the next best step. Remember, you can always dream the big picture. You can always have your plan. You can always have your routine. And those will never fail you.
It really is quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It is the quiet one. The louder ones are always a cover.
Yeah, they're
masking.
That's
so weird.
But that's what happens. And that's in recognition to the pause, right? Because when you're in that pause, that's when you're in that moment of stillness. That's when you're like, all right. So, all of this is out of my scope, but I can do this. And then it's not breaking that down too much to make that feel like that's too big of a thing to try to accomplish.
Say that again?
Well, once you find out what it is, because part of scarcity is running into the obstacle, right? So, when you run into the obstacle that's got you stuck in that scarcity mindset, like, I don't know if I should make that leap. I don't know if I should do that thing. But then you can come up with a smaller one and be like, well, I don't know if I'm ready for that leap, but I know that this class would be really good for me and it would really point me in the right direction. And then listening to yourself break down why you can't do the class. So at some point, you've got to recognize the pattern and break it. And you're going to choose when. Like, how much am I going to break it down before I'm ready to start? Because at some point, you got to be ready to start.
I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, right. Juicy.
So example of subtle frequency level actions, leaning into trust in a money moment. You tip the barista, not because you should, but because you feel the flow. You recognize this isn't a loss, this is an amplifier. Scarcity says, hold back just in case. I don't know if I can really afford to give that $20 tip. I feel inspired to give that person. That's a really big chunk of change. There's so many reasons. There's always going to be so many reasons not to, right? But Overflow says, I can circulate energy because I trust the return. I know that giving this out as a gift, it's going to come back to me tenfold in some way, shape, or form. And I can trust that. And actually, this is a great place to insert this. It's okay to recognize that there is gain in the actions that you take for others. It's okay to say, I'm willing to tip somebody on the heavier side of things because I know it's coming back to me, because I know I'll get mine when I need it most. It's like its own investment. And a lot of people will look at you and be like, that's selfish. That's not the right intention. You shouldn't focus on that. And you're right. You shouldn't covet it. It shouldn't be something that is your all-encompassing thought. But it's within your rights to recognize what you gain from the actions that you're taking. You already do it with your personal life. It's okay to do it with your friends, your family, your kids. It's not something to bastardize. It's not something to sit there and be like, ooh, I'm a terrible person because I'm focused on what I get out of the situation.
I hate how selfishness has turned into what it has, because it takes away from self-love.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it all comes down to recognizing it. Recognizing that ick, that nasty, you did it in a manipulative way to purposely take from somebody else to get what you wanted. As opposed to, I did this knowing it would benefit everybody else and myself. I didn't do it at the detriment of myself, because that'd be silly. Because at the end of the day, nobody has your back but you. Nobody has your back but you. It is your job to communicate what you need and to make sure that you get what you need, what your body needs, what your mind needs.
And that's not to say that you don't have those people that you can count on and are dependable, but it's letting you know, like, it helps you set the tone for appreciating those moments and those people in your life that are able to live that standard for you or with you, because they are few and far between, and it's never something that you're going to hold on to.
It's like the difference between selfishness and self-love. The selfish thing to do would be purposely manipulate somebody, knowing that it would hurt them or take from them in a negative manner just to benefit you. And we could call that selfish.
And I think that selfish also rings true with, what am I getting now? What are my upfront, direct, where do I see my instant gratification in this moment? Because that's
without the thought of the others that you're affecting, I guess.
Well, I mean,
but at the end of the day, you have to take care of yourself. You deserve that. And that's, I feel like, what we're trying to impress, is that you deserve to be taken care of.
Yes.
It is not.
Well, not only that, but okay, guys, when you step into flow, you're not responding from an emotional standpoint. You're responding from what comes next, and then you get to choose what kind of emotion that's going to attach to it.
From a place of surrender.
Yeah, but part of that is like being able to, you guys, like, if there's no such thing as good and bad, righteous and evil, it's all subjective to somebody's truth and how they understand and believe things, then this falls into that concept, right? Because
there we go. I like that.
Because you're gonna take the time to recognize how it benefits you. I'll tell you right now, I would not tip nearly as generously as I do if I didn't recognize the return that I got from doing it. And that might sound selfish and that might sound self-centered, but honestly and truly, like, there's an awesome benefit in it for me. And it's not just something that affects me, it affects the other person, and it affects them in a positive way. And then it affects the other people around them, because an act of kindness, an act of Christ consciousness, if you will, has a rippling effect. And it affects not just the person that has directly been hit by the experience, but anybody in a 10-foot radius around that person, whether they saw it happen or not, are directly affected. And then those people directly affect the people within a 5-foot radius of them, and so on and so forth. Like, it's a beautiful ripple effect backed by science. There you go.
It's like a passive forward thing in a way.
In a sense. And so, but what I'm saying is like, you can take value in recognizing what you do get to gain, so that you can be appreciative of it, not so that you can covet it, not so that you can be like, oh yeah, I'm always I found my hack and cheat code in life. No, it's, I see how flow works.
But it is a cheat code at the same time.
It is. And
if it helps you to look at it from a gamer point of view, like
yeah, every time I do this, and think about it, like, you could be saving up for a rainy day. There might be something really big that's coming in your life that you don't know about, that may hit you financially, emotionally, what have you. And maybe all the acts of kindness that you've been doing have been like leading up to being able to help you through that hard time. You don't know where it comes in and how it's spent for you.
I mean, it could be a cheat code for scarcity mindset anyways. It's like gratitude.
You're not wrong. Well, and it's a good...
coming from a point of gratitude and love.
And it's a good doorway to get into it.
I can't remember when it started, but tipping was where it started for me. My only My only ex-husband.
My first and my
ex-husband.
last.
You know, there's that TikTok trend going around. Don't get mad at me, babe. I love you. My ex-husband had this thing with tipping where he would watch them and he would judge them and he would tip them what he felt they deserved.
I was so that guy for a long
I
time.
know, and it drove me nuts because there were times where he tipped pennies. I'm like, that would hurt, man, because I've not actually gotten to the point to where I was a waitress, but I was a hostess at IHOP, and I know how those people live on tips, man. So even like when it comes to like housekeeping, I've stayed in a couple hotels and I've never thought to tip the housekeeper the few times that I've been until I was a housekeeper, and then I was living off those tips. I was like, man, you got to appreciate the work that people put into serving, customer service, or
furniture moving. Same way, man. Like, I wouldn't say we live off the tips necessarily, but man, those tips really they make all
and
the
the
difference.
ripple effect that it has, because you know, when I did watch those waitresses get $50 tips, they were like crying, and they were super thankful. They had things going on in their lives that they really, really needed that money for, and it came. It was a surprise.
And see what,
and it feels good to see that, and it feels good to be a part of that, to do that.
Well, and think about it, like you're making yourself, you're putting yourself in the frequency of miracle energy when you do these acts of kindness. There are many miracles in action, and they lead you to bigger miracles that you can start getting into, start doing, because like
miracle energy, I'd say the frequency of love, because it would be from a place of love.
I mean, potato, it's the same
love
thing.
The reaction that you see when somebody is so grateful to receive a gift. You feel good being the person to give that gift and see that reaction, or be the person that receives that gift. How grateful and overwhelming that.
What it brings all the way back through to you is it shows you how flow with money works. Like, that's the beauty of the tipping system, is it shows you how money, you are a conduit for money. Money wants to go where money's going to be spent,
and it's not with the expectation that it's going to come back. You know, it'll come when it comes.
Oh, no,
you're not going to
absolutely no. See,
you're
no,
not
no,
going to
no,
expect
no,
it.
no, absolutely no. That's where I would like 100% expect it.
No.
Expect it. You did the act of kindness. Expect that there will be a return when you need it. So that don't sugarcoat it. Recognize it. Own it. Stand in your power. Recognize that your direct action of doing this, yes, it still has to be from a stance of like authenticity. You're doing this because you want to do kindness unto others. But there's just as much power in recognizing what the after effect of that is, and how it propels you forward to be able to continue to do this for others, because it's momentum. It starts to build, and it gets you to that point. Now, like I was saying, it gets you to a point where you can freely be that place where money gets
almost
spent.
Like a
hold
harmonious...
on. You cut me off each time right when we get here. So but that doesn't mean that you can sit there and frivolously spend your money. Remember, we live a life of duality, everything in balance. So it's recognizing I can give the help to others because I know that it's coming back to me. When you recognize that and you own that, then money can start flowing through you, because you are going to be the person that gives it out. You're not going to hoard it. You're not going to be stingy with it. You're not going to play judger and say you deserve this much and you deserve that much. You're going to give the way you can give whenever the occasion comes up for it, right? And when you do that and you start having that kind of a relationship with your money, you start stepping into this area where you recognize how to save your money with intention versus just hoarding your money and watching yourself feel like you're gripping onto pennies and dollars trying to keep it in place. Money wants to go where it has intention to go. That's why we have goals when it comes to saving our money, and whether it's the envelope system or it's the rainy day jar of coins, or however you choose to save your money. When you have a purpose behind it, it's easier to stack. More opportunities come for you to be able to stack that in order for that opportunity. Now, when that opportunity is ready, when you have the money for it, you're obligated to spend it on that thing. Like, unless you find a bigger, better goal that gets you that and then something else, or you find a different direction, and it really, all of a sudden, you have what you need for it because you were saving up for this, but actually, this is really more in alignment. When you're spending money like that, it's awesome. But if you save up for that goal and then you don't follow through, and you don't do the vacation, or you don't buy the class, or you don't get
Speaking from
the tool, yeah,
experience.
you don't do those things, you're telling the money, oh man, look, I'm not a safe place for you to be able to go, because
Just
I'm not going to put
kidding.
you where I intended for you to be in the first place.
It's like interrupting the flow,
Yeah.
throwing it off track.
Yeah. It's like putting a chokehold on it all of a sudden. Oh man.
The harmonious balance of surrender and acceptance.
Yes.
Stepping into that. So it's going to feel off kilter when you first start it, and it's going to feel awkward and weird, and maybe even a little off-putting.
And when you can do it with the mindset of, I can circulate energy because I trust the return, that choice is an act of faith. It's an act of faith in yourself. It's an act of faith in the universe that you are, the reality that you are creating for yourself, and the perspective that you're choosing to live in. Faith is such a strong concept, man. If there's one thing I can tell you, like, faith can get you so many places. And it's not just faith in God, faith in a creator. It's faith in yourself. It's faith in your actions. It's faith in your choices. It's faith in knowing that when you choose to surrender to the energies around you and see where the next step takes you, that it's doing so with the proper intent. Like, faith is key in this. Ooh, I like that. Choosing stillness over urgency. We talked a little bit about this last week. You get the impulse to hustle, you respond fast, do more, move now. Gotta get it. Don't want to miss out. But something in you says, breathe. The right moment doesn't need to be right now. It doesn't need to be forced. If you're being met with resistance, it's time to reevaluate and see if you need to go a different direction. Maybe there are pre-steps that you haven't taken. Maybe you're just facing the wrong direction. You're about to walk into some nastiness. Who knows? Anyway, so you listen. It's not laziness. It's energetic leadership. You're saying, I trust timing. I trust myself. I don't need to chase what's already mine. Bro, it's so huge. I don't need to chase what's already mine. And that doesn't mean you've got to decide if it's even yours to begin with. It's recognizing that if it's in your reality, if it's showing up in your life, it's for you. You just got to allow yourself to say, it's actually mine. Because it's your life. You make the choices.
Almost like, what lesson is there in this for me?
A little bit, but we could go on the opposite side of that and say, what opportunity is being presented? Because life is lessons and opportunities, and more often than not, it's both in the same. So you get to choose your flavor. Am I going to step into this looking for the lesson, or am I going to step into this looking for the opportunity? And you'll start to feel which one it is as you go through said experience. And this is where you start practicing that non-attachment, because you're not emotionally invested in any of your choices until you know what it is and decide what you want to put to it. And then you get to decide the level of emotional energy you put into it. And that's the beauty.
I feel like you gotta almost like pull the emotion out of it first, because that want to emotionally react to each situation, I feel like, is one of the first ones that comes up.
Well, and that's beautiful, because it's a moment to see if it's scarcity.
It's a moment to pause.
Yep. It's a moment to see if it's scarcity, to see if it's alignment, and see, like, what are you accepting into your reality? Is that really something that speaks to you? Definitely. So yes, I would agree. You definitely have to address the emotion first. And sometimes it's not even is this something I gotta be aware of? This may be the emotion that shows you that this is it. Right? Like, oh gosh, you're right. This is it. So now that I know this is it, what really starts to make my heart trill when I think about this possibility? Oh man, okay. What really feels good? Like, what do I feel confident in being able to do now to step towards that?
Yes.
And then you might catch that little cycle of scarcity where I don't have this, or I don't have that. And you can even acknowledge those and be like, okay, I recognize that I don't have those things. How many of those things that I don't have or I can't do are actually pertinent to do? Do I even know enough about what I'm trying to do to even decide whether I have the credentials to do it? Maybe I need to study some more. Maybe I need to look at a beginner class or what have you. You know, like let that imagination wander and build. Your imagination is key, guys. Your imagination, like think about it. When you were a kid,
It really is, though.
yeah. When you were a kid,
It's also limiting.
well,
and you gotta check yourself sometimes.
You know, you're not wrong there. Like, there's that balance for sure. But like when you were kids and you played make believe and you played pretend, you played house, you played whatever you played as a kid. I remember a big one for me was playing Pokemon or Digimon. It was always one of the two, and we were always creating our own. But it was never for some accolade. It wasn't so that we could be the best. It was because we just wanted to create our own creatures and bring them to life as much as we could, right? That's how we were as kids. So we just got to find that again as adults with the things that we're doing in our day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
How do I bring this
Bring
more
the
alive?
magic back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's so cheesy. I love it.
Staying in celebration and not calculation. You get a small win, a new client, a new kind of message, a sale, a compliment, $20 on the ground. Scarcity used to scam for what was missing. Like, okay, but how do I keep it going? Why wasn't it bigger? You know, the timing could have been a little bit better. Like 3 days ago would have really been helpful, and especially with that one, I want to hit on that. Like when you start thinking about where it could have actually been actual helpful, odds are it was for something that you didn't actually need, but desired it enough to deceive yourself into thinking it was a need.
Not only that, but you're like ripping the joy out of it. What do you always say? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Mm-hmm. Comparison is the thief of joy, for sure.
There's a beautiful moment where you found something on the ground and it really benefits you. And instead of being grateful for it, you're just smashing the crap out of it. Oh gosh, I could have used this then.
Man, even if it was like a little rock that just really stood out to you and you pick that sucker up and put it in your pocket, you know you're not going to do anything with it. You know it's not going to serve any purpose in that life. But in that moment, it spoke to you and you reacted the way you would have as a kid. You picked it up, you put it in your pocket, you had a smile on your face because you found a cool rock. And odds are you're going to show it off to somebody, right? Like that in and of itself is its own little mini blessing. Like that was a moment to cherish because you got to step into your childhood for a moment. You know?
Ooh. Excuse me, rabbit trail. For my birthday, a couple days ago, we went to Bridal Falls and we went through the Beartooth Pass, I believe is what it was called.
Place. Yep.
All the way up to the little observatory thing.
Yep.
And back through. Well, as we were going through, especially on the way back, there were so many people, grown ass adults, pulled over on the side of the road to pick up rocks. They were filtering through rocks. There were so many people pulled over on places where they were not meant to pull over, because there's lots of places where the road is extended so that you can pull over because it's a really thin trail. Yeah, there's so many grown-ass adults picking out rocks, and it made me kind of happy.
Look at all those big kids out there.
Yeah. They're picking out pretty rocks.
So now you feel the reverence of the moments. You really bring yourself into the now. You let it land. You celebrate it fully. And most importantly, you recognize that this moment is not the whole meal. It's the first bite. You know, these small moments, they're just a breadcrumb trail to the better, bigger, better things.
They do feel monumental sometimes. And when you are really stuck in the moment, it's like you're zoomed in so much that you're hyper focused on how big this is because it just feels so much. And sometimes you really just gotta zoom out. Like, it's just a small piece. That was only 15 minutes of my day. It wasn't my entire day.
That's wild. That's like totally inverse of what I was going for there. Like, I'm thinking more along the lines of like, you know, that $20 that you found on the ground that was really sorely needed. That was a nod of the universe saying, I got your back. Did you see that? Are you ready for more? Are you going to catch the next one? Are you ready for the next one? You know, like, show me your frequency of appreciation, human. It's a little bit how I feel about it. But also, like to take that on the flip side and recognize that those hard moments are just that. They're just moments that even those moments serve a purpose. Maybe it's there to show you a new level of your own capability. I've noticed that more often than not, trying moments are just that. They're there to show you your own growth. They're showing you how big your spiritual vessel has become, if you will.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the scarcity mindset comes from fear and anxiety. So a lot of those moments that you're working on and exercising to pause and not respond emotionally or cut yourself up and take away from yourself to zoom out and be like,
You know, and
it's not that big of a deal. Or even, sometimes zoom in and focus on that, that's a beautiful moment. Need to acknowledge that and see that and recognize that is what it is.
and appreciate it fully.
Yeah.
It's gone. Fart in the wind. Dang it anyway.
It's because I was so opposite of what you were talking about.
No, you said something and it was like, oh yeah, this, and then it was gone as soon as I had it in my brain. I don't know. But yeah, appreciate the moments.
Scarcity and anxiety and fear.
Anxiety. Oh, yeah, thank you. Brought it right back. All right, guys, anxiety, fear, those things raise cortisol levels in your blood. It toxifies your blood. Did you know? Oh, no, I can't say I know this for a fact. But when you go through like post-traumatic stress disorder, it does something to the blood and it changes its properties.
We'll find the link.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it. It's really old stuff it's like in the dusty bins of my brain, so I definitely have to do a recap on it. But what I'm saying is like if fear and anxiety break down the body, raise cortisol levels, do those kind of things, then its opposite should have more cell regrowth, more cell regeneration, more rejuvenation of the cells that are there in your body. So as you step into flow, as you recognize your place and own your badass self, you will see the benefits of that through your own health. I'm not going to promise you the world and say, and you will be cured of all ailments. But I'll tell you what, you'll live a different life with those ailments at the very least, and they won't take over your life the way that a lot of those.
Well, there's lots of studies on depression and everything, and how living on such a low frequency can do detrimental things to the body. You can make yourself sick from worrying, like physically sick. It'll do awful things to your body, not just the cortisol levels, blood pressure.
Man, having a belief that you're sick starts
and just
turning
practicing
the body
gratitude,
into that mode.
small shifts back into positivity, finding little nuances in the way that you're living in a scarcity mindset and trying to shift and step over into gratitude. And
the small wins are the energetic signature of something bigger trying to arrive, and your celebration of those wins are what keep the door open. It's what keeps the vibrational frequency high, so to speak. All right, now for my favorite part. Recognizing the feeling of flow while leaning into trust. All right. We're definitely going to be getting into this one a bit more because I think this is a good overview, but I would like it to be more articulated. So, flow isn't always loud or euphoric. It's often quiet, physical, subtle. It feels like your insides stop clenching. Imagine you've been spinning on a decision. Should I take the opportunity? Wait, ask for clarity. You're tangled in the loop. What ifs, timelines, consequences. Then something shifts. You exhale. You decide to stop trying to control every variable. You say to yourself, I trust who I'm becoming more than I fear what I don't know. And your system unlocks. Your shoulders drop. Your breath deepens. And your field widens. You feel present again. Not because you figured it out, but because you've stopped fighting your own life. That's the flow. That's the nervous system saying we're safe now. Let's move from the center, not from panic. And then something else happens. You go back to that decision and you're no longer scrambling. You don't need to reach out to force clarity. You don't over-explain yourself. You don't say yes just to fill space. Instead, you make a single move, one that feels clean. You send a voice note with no apology. You ask a direct question. You say no without defending it. And that move will land differently because it's not charged. It's not coming from scarcity. It's coming from alignment. That's flow in motion. Not the absence of fear, but the presence of clarity. So,
You know what this makes me think of? How people can get in the habit of apologizing all the time, and the little ways to stop yourself from apologizing. Like, oh, you showed up late. Guys, I'm so sorry I'm late. Instead, saying, thank you for patiently waiting for me. Just the energetic feel that, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I was late. To thank you for waiting for me.
and the difference between those is one, you're asking for your energy, and the second, you are exuding it. When you come up and you're like, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to be late, I had all these things, like you are racing for acceptance, for validation, for why you were doing what you were doing. Whereas when you come in and it's just like, I apologize for being late, or no, well, yeah, even I apologize for being late, thank you for waiting for me. I appreciate your time, it means a lot. What have you. You're coming in, owning your own energy.
To just like think of a time where you had so much faith in what was happening that you weren't in a scarcity mindset. Like, I know you can think about a situation or a time where you were in flow, or you had faith in the situation and you weren't trying to control it. Because as you were saying that, that's what I was thinking of all the times that I was in flow, that I did trust that things were going to work out that the way they needed to, and instead of just trying to micro manage situations.
So when you think about those thoughts, can you think even a little bit more into it and recognize how in those moments you didn't feed into the, I hope that I'm doing this right, I just, oh boy, here we go. This is like, you like let all of that go in those actual flow moments. I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm not gonna stress about it till the moment arrives, if it ever does, and we're just gonna see how the chips fall. Because there's nothing else you can do, right?
Either way, the chips fall, the chips are gonna fall, and I'm gonna be just fine.
One of my favorite.
Regardless of how they fall.
One of my favorite practices that I like to do when I was learning how to own my presence without asking for apologies.
Ooh, yeah.
Was to simply. My big one was learning how to say no without any explanation behind it. All right, now but then you take it one step farther. Not only do you not offer an explanation at first, but you don't have one. You decide on the no, and that's the only word in your brain is no. There are no other like, oh, but I've got this going on and I could probably shift this around. Like, just for once in your life, when you feel a no, own it so solidly that there is no explanation for it. It simply is just a no.
The first thing that comes to mind with that is like breakups.
Oh gosh, that's too hard for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I started. So, I mean, I can do that now, but like
in my divorce, we had kids, so we had to stay in communication, and a lot of the fighting was him asking me for reasons why I was doing things. And I was so used to that happening while we were married that it was really hard to step away from. And when I think back to breakups anyways, there's always, you have to give a reason why you're breaking up instead of just, I'm done.
Mine is the favors. Mine are I started with small favors because I had a really hard time saying no anyway. So I started with the small favors, like, hey man, do you think you could come by after work and do this? And like, no. And just keep it at no. That's where it started for me.
That's a good one too, though. That's a good one too.
And then like the satisfaction in that no is seeing the reaction of the person, because 9 times out of 10, that person is going to be like, what? And then because they're such in shock with such an abrupt no with no explanation behind it, their brain doesn't like.
It's funny
chase
because
it.
I can think of many times that other people have just told me no, and that was fine. Which makes it kind of silly when I think about how I would normally feel a huge sense of obligation to give a reason.
And I think that really stems from parents. Because parents, like, your kids don't tell you no. Your kids don't tell you no. Don't tell me no. What did you say to me? Are you back talking me? What do you mean do it this way?
And not only that, but even as a child, you always want to know why. You always want to know why.
Yeah, so
Why not? Well, I need a reason. No, you don't. I don't have to give you a reason. I'm so used to having reasons.
So yeah, guys, if you're struggling with your nose, it's a really powerful exercise. It feels so, it's hard. There's like that 5 minutes of, oh my gosh, I just want to spill the beans on why I said no. But if you just hold firm and watch their reaction, all of a sudden you're like, I have the power.
Owe anybody an excuse. You do not owe anybody an excuse.
And
nobody owes you an excuse either.
And you don't know how somebody's going to react until you actually see them react, right? Like, and you may know how they react most times, so you have to cater to that to some degree. I wouldn't say cater to it as in dampen your own light, but lights can shine many different directions with many different colors. Choose your flavor. You know,
Lights have flavor.
Lights do have flavor. But yeah. Honestly, when it comes to leaning into that trust, it's recognize that moment of surrender. Right? You've got that. You've cleared away the scarcity thoughts. Right? You're stepping into the pause, and there's a moment, even in between the pause and the action, where you will feel an energetic link of trust with the action that you are going to move through. And you're going to get that, and that feeling is confirmation of your universe, your reality working with you and for you. So then you have more confidence stepping into it. You get that first noticeable feeling of trust, and then you just got to embellish that feeling, knowing that is going to be the difference between being able to manifest in a way that it shows up in your reality versus manifesting in a way where you hope it shows up in your reality. You get to clear out all the BS. It's no longer a guessing game. Once you own that trust, you will always know when the timing is right for the things that you need to do.
It gets easier.
It does. And it's liberation. It's freedom of your soul. It's living in your own truth.
It's so weird because there's a feeling of control that, like, I don't know. I enjoy feeling like I have control, which is hard to admit. But stepping into the flow is
control.
Is a form of control.
Yes.
Because it's controlling my emotions. I'm not letting them go wild and crazy. I'm keeping them in the harmonious, peaceful place.
So would you say that it goes from external to internal? Your desire for control flips. You no longer need to control the external because you know it all comes from the internal.
Oh, I love that, Brayden. Yes. Oh my gosh.
And once you can trust that it comes from the internal, then you know you're the generator. When you know you're the generator, possibilities become very real.
I love that.
There it is.
I love that.
I knew there were some words. I was like, gosh. I tried to like piece them together, but really, honestly and truly, that is the bread and butter. That's the milk and honey. That's the PB&J. I'm telling you, that is going to be, that's like right up there with perspective shifting. Like those two things go hand in hand so much. They are like two components of the same superpower. And that is where the magic truly happens. That is where magic is real and tangible. But still gets to show up in your own way because we're all unique, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we have a practice, an energy tuning ritual. So close your eyes, drop into your body, notice the feelings that are there. Call forward the version of you that lives in ease, the version who trusts the timing, circulation, self, and ask them, how do you show trust through your choices? How do you spend your money? How do you treat the people around you? How do you rest even when things feel undone? Now breathe and ask yourself, What's one small, sacred action I can take today that affirms my trust in life's responses to me? And then ask yourself, what just relaxed in me? Take a moment, recognize it. Feel the tension melt out of your body as you step into acceptance. You trust the feelings of what you are and what you are becoming. And you lean into that super hard. What's one subtle trust action you're going to take today? A tip? A deep breath? A no? Letting yourself receive without shrinking? That one is a big one, guys. When people give you compliments, that is an opportunity to own your authenticity, your authentic self. To be able to say, thank you. I appreciate you recognizing that. I took a lot of time to do it. I really was passionate about it. It put a fucking smile on my face. Excuse my language. You know? Right. Don't downplay yourself. Don't downplay the compliment. When you downplay a compliment, you're not only watering yourself down, but you're watering down the energy that the person is trying to give you. Receive it.
Yeah.
Openly.
You're robbing somebody of the opportunity for them to experience the joy of giving.
Yes.
Oh, that perspective is what got it for me.
Alba.
Because I was real weird about, I like giving gifts, but you don't need to give them to me. Oh, come on.
Stop
it's okay. It. Like, even with my friend, when my friend gave me my birthday gift, I was like, oh, man, I really should do this more often for you. She's like, will you stop it? Like, oh, my God, I just did it to her.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Wow. Why am I making it all about me? Just say thank you, Whitney. I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm really turning this beautiful moment of hers into something it shouldn't be. Like, I took the joy out of the situation, and I'm sorry, friend.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thief of joy. It shows up in many ways. Just think, when you're telling yourself you're not worthy of the gift that somebody gives you, you're basically telling them that they think way too highly of you. Like, they're wrong for seeing you in the light that they see you.
Or like, you wasted money on me because I don't deserve something like this. Like, you're so stupid. Why would you spend money on somebody like me?
Yeah, in a sense. Like, in a way,
I'm so sorry, friend.
So don't sashay the compliments. Lean into them.
That one's an actual airplane this time.
It doesn't need to be seen by the world. It just needs to resonate in your field. Overflow isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's 1,000 subtle decisions that say, I already belong in the life that I'm calling in. You don't need to prove your worth. You just need to start acting like you remember. Manifestation is a ritual of remembrance, and your actions are the spell.
Ooh.
Bam. And that's all I got for this, guys. Yeah. Thank you,
love
Stephanie. We appreciate you too.
As long as the weather holds, I think we'll continue meeting up here.
We had a lot of people show up today, guys.
Did we? Your phone's on that side, so I couldn't even see it.
We've got
Sandra, Stephanie, Judy,
Lindsay, Sandra,
Brittany, Alba, Bailey,
Rick, Esso,
Nikki, Felicia. Oh!
Alba does amazing on all of her compliments that she gives to people. It's so fluid, just out of nowhere. She's like, I love this about you. Oh my gosh, that over there. And before you know it, she's in a full-blown conversation, and it's just like...
Which is wild to think of people shooting down comments, because it's so mean.
Well, and but it gave me some brain thoughts, right? So like, because Alba is so authentic with giving the compliments, and she's genuinely telling people something she appreciates about them, she's like stepping into a different mindset. So her perspective isn't, oh no, I hope this person doesn't diss me, doesn't take my compliment the wrong way, doesn't feel any kind of way about it, like, because we all think that, like, oh, I want to tell that person, but ooh, what if they take it the wrong way? Yeah, they'll think I'm a creep, they'll think I'm a weirdo. But when you're stepping into, I just want this person to be able to feel that energy of, oh my gosh, how awesome are you? I think energy it says a lot. Like people's energy, when you get that vibe around them, you already decide within 30 seconds whether you're going to give them the time of day and to what degree, right? So I think learning how to give compliments from a state of authenticity, though awkward at 1st, brings you into that realm of being able to approach people.
Okay.
And have those conversations, find those opportunities, really get another zest and zeal for life. I think, honestly, guys,
like, but that's different than accepting the compliments.
No, I mean, they go hand in hand, right? Like,
I don't know, because I don't know. I feel like I was really good at finding people and wanting to give them the joy. You know, you see somebody who looks like they're really focused and looking down, they could use a good smile on their face. I'm like, hey, excuse me, sir. I'm like, what? You look so good in that hat. I'm like, oh, thank you. Well, you know what? That shirt looks really good on you. I'm like, oh, whoa. You're like, I gave you a compliment. You didn't need to go like that. Like, I had to get used to like the reciprocation. Like, whoa, this was meant for you. We're not turning it on me. Stop looking at me.
Okay. I think I see it more in the light of like if you can get that genuine appreciation from somebody while you're giving the compliments, you get to see that energy. Then in turn, it's easier for you to recognize how to give it back when that time comes.
Ooh, wow.
Because you know how to act accordingly, so to speak. So then it's reciprocal and it creates its own field of like perpetual growth, if you will. I mean, like, you guys, we all want friends, right? Like, we all want to meet new people. We all want to be able to step into that. But how do you do it? The best way is with a compliment. But how do you get somebody with a compliment? Well, you got to do it from authenticity. Well, how do you do it from authenticity? Well, you got to practice. You got to be awkward. You got to be weird. You got to go tell the people that they look good in the things that they look good in. Or they said something that really struck home for you.
You could easily notice when somebody put a little extra attention into the way that they look, whether it be their hair, the makeup, whether their shoes are flamboyant. They look nice. They chose them for a reason. And, you know, maybe not everybody appreciates how flamboyant they are.
There was a guy down at the smoke shop that had he had little glue on nails, and then he had these fun little characters. I have no idea what they were, but they were shiny and they were glittering every time he was handling my money, and I was like, wow, those just really pop. Like, I almost want them. Almost. I don't think I could do nails.
Just one.
One?
Yeah.
My pinky? Oh, no, then
it's usually just one.
Do that. No, he had all of them. And they all had different characters. And they reminded me of the 90s glitter stickers. I swear
my husband had one fingernail painted a lot of the time. Or he colored it in or something.
I can see that. I remember.
Or somebody did that. There were a couple people that did that.
Dylan,
it was just a couple.
That.
Yeah.
Dylan Corcoran did that.
Yeah, that face popped in my head.
Wow, that takes me back.
Good times.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say on stepping into all of this. Say it like you mean it. That's right.
So, what do we want to do next week? Are we gonna?
We can just discuss that after the live and then give people an update, because that's way too far ahead for me to even contemplate at the moment.
Oh my gosh. I just found out today that both my kids are getting braces.
Oh. Both
my little kids?
Dang.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
That's wild. Just out of nowhere, huh?
Yeah, that's next week. Okay. It almost feels like it's Friday. Like, I know we're at the end of May, so it feels like it's supposed to be Friday. And then the 30th is coming, and then the Monday is the 1st.
Is Monday the 1st?
I have no idea, but in my head it is. What if it is?
Well, what's today? Today's the 28th. Is there 31 days in May?
Yeah.
So what, that's 5 days? Or
maybe.
3 days?
I don't know.
Sorry.
Am I wrong?
That's 3 days from now?
I don't have the calendar pulled up.
So it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I think Monday is the 2nd.
All people are beautiful, and we just say what we see that we notice. I had a black fingernail a lot. It was mostly from smashing. Get it, Rick?
Oh, you guys. Oh, that's good stuff. Oh, man, finger injuries are the worst. They make me so upset. And honestly, I don't think I've ever had a finger injury that wasn't done out of negligence. Like, it was my own freaking stupidity. Always,
Oh,
every
it's
time
funny.
with hand injuries. And then it just makes me upset because it's like, I've just inconvenienced my life unnecessarily for the next 3 weeks while this thing heals.
That was a good laugh.
What was the lesson in all this? We'll find out next week.
Yep. We'll have a theme for the month of June. And Father's Day, we'll have a Father's Day special.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Mm.
One less fly in the world, guys. You're welcome.
So be sure to join us the Wednesday before Father's Day. Have to look at a calendar. But that'll be the Father's Day special.
Yeah.
Happy summertime, guys. Oh my gosh.
Or
I know we're going to be
beast.
busy. Everybody's going to be going on vacations. We will still be here. If we are also busy, we'll be letting you know beforehand, but we should be outside as long as it's not raining.
Until we get a gazebo. Oh. I'm not
Did you see the one I sent you? Oh my gosh, we're looking at them. Oh, we're so excited.
I bet you we could find one on Facebook.
That's what Rick was saying. Look online.
Yeah.
Things are shifting. Oh my gosh. Action of the summer.
Oh, that third one was robbed from me. How unsatisfying.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye. Until next time.